Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥.
Hello guys, this is Vijay. Welcome to ForumIAS. So today, the October 10th, we are having 5 articles. The first one is related to the state of India's scheduled area. Okay, so here we will be discussing about the certain key facts related to the scheduled area and what are the issues we are having in scheduled area and what are the way forward. So this is the first article. Secondly, it is related to the multimodal AA. So what is multimodal AA and why is it important? Here we will be discussing certain facts related to multimodal AA and what are the applications, right? The third one, India needs youth mental health focus to strike demographic goal. So here we will be discussing about the issues the adolescents of India is having related to the mental domain and what are the way forward we can take in the future. So this is the third one. Then fourth and fifth article, they are prelim-centric and urban unemployment rate drops to 6.6%. Then ICMR to conduct study to develop solutions to remedy childhood undernutrition. Okay, so these are the 2 articles we are having. Here we will be discussing about PLFS survey and labor force participation rate and worker population ratio. Then in the last article, we will be discussing certain facts related to ICMR. So this is how we are going to carry forward the discussion. Without any much delay, let us move on to the discussion part. This is the first article, guys. The state of India's scheduled area. Okay. So with respect to this article, they had discussed what are scheduled areas and how our scheduled areas are governed and who decides a scheduled area and what are the issues we are having with respect to scheduled areas and what will be the way forward mechanism. So this is how the entire articulation has been provided, right? So here with respect to this article, they had provided some map, kindly go through it, right? So they also provided certain facts related to the tribal population in India. So the article, it has been stating that we are having almost 705 tribal groups in India. And these tribal groups, they constitute almost 8.6% of the India's total population, right? And with respect to the governance, of tribal people, we are having 2 schedules, okay? So all we know, the 5th and 6th schedule, right? So 5th schedule, it has been applicable in almost 10 states. And for 6th schedule, we are having tribal areas in the states like Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. So these are all the regions which has been administered by the schedule number 5 and 6. Right? Then the article, it has been discussing about the mechanism. Who is in charge of announcing or demarcating the region as a scheduled area? So this is what the article has been discussing, right? So the mechanism, the power to declare any area as a scheduled area is bestowed on the President of India, right? So the President of India, he is having a executive power over the tribal regions. So he is in charge of the scheduled areas what we are having under the schedule number 5, right? So here in the article, they also discussing about the tribal advisory councils. So if suppose President, he announced certain regions which has been constituting as a scheduled area, right? So for administrative purpose, we need to keep certain mechanisms, right? So with respect to state, we are having governor. So governor is the agent of president, okay? So he is the agent of president and he will be implementing the vision what the president is having in the tribal population, right? So he will be implementing or he can impose or he can restrict any laws related to the state or related to the central government. So if the central or the state governments, if they are passing any acts or any laws or any legal enactment means, then the governor vested with power, he can regulate such provisions which are applicable to the scheduled areas. Okay, so this is how the governor will be functioning. But with respect to the ground level administrative mechanisms, we are having a tribal advisory councils. And within that tribal advisory councils, we are having almost 20 scheduled tribe members, and they will decide the modus operandi which is applicable to their particular region. Okay, so this is how the mechanism has been existing behind the implementation of the 5th schedule, right? And as I already told you, with respect to India, we are having almost 10 states under the Schedule 5 category. So the regions which are part of these 10 states are under the 5th schedule. The Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Odisha. So these are the 10 states. They are having regions under the 5th schedule. And in the year 2015, Kerala government, they also proposed certain regions as a scheduled areas, but it had to get the approval from the central government. So for past almost 7-8 years, the Kerala government has been awaiting for the approval, right? So they actually proposed to notify 2,133 habitations, which composed of 5 gram panchayats and 2 wards in 5 districts as a scheduled areas, right? So it had to get the approval. Then with respect to the scheduled area administration, we are having a governor's role here, okay? So the governor, he will be submitting a report to the president related to the administration of the scheduled areas, and he will be submitting a report with some detailed descriptions related to certain issues what he had faced in that particular financial year, okay? So this is how the report and recommendations will be there for the president. And the governor, he is also empowered to regulate the land related activities and the money lending business within that the scheduled area or the scheduled regions. Because historically, we all well known that the tribal people are highly innocent, right? So their innocence has been capitalized by certain ruthless money lenders, okay? So that's what the governor had provided with certain role related to the money lending business. Then we are having regulations made by the governor must be implemented after the assent of president. So any regulations the governor can make related to the administration of the scheduled regions. But before its implementation, it had to get the approval from the president. So after getting the assent from the president, it will be implemented in the ground level. Okay. And we are having a question, who decides the scheduled areas? So it is the president, right? And we don't have any criteria in the constitution or in the any legal enactments. And the criteria what the president has been using has been following from the Debar committee recommendations, right? So these are all the portions which has been constituting as a first half of the article, right? So these all facts and all had been provided in the Lakshmikant book itself. And you can also see the same facts in the DD Basu, okay? So let me tell you once again, with respect to the tribal population, they had provided certain facts. So the first is, they had stated that in India, we are having almost 705 tribal group, and they have been constituting almost 8.6% of the India's population. And with respect to 5th and 6th scheduled areas, we are having almost 11.3% of the total land area. Okay. So under the 5th and 6th schedule, we are having 11.3% of India's total land area. And with respect to the constitutional provisions, we are having one important article, which is Article 244. Within that 244, we are having two sub-provisions. The first sub-provision is related to the 5th scheduled areas, and the second is related to the 6th scheduled areas, which are applicable in the states like Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram, right? And they have been discussing about the mechanism related to the scheduled areas. So the president is the authority who is having power to notify any region as a scheduled area. Apart from the notification of the president, in the ground level, we are having certain mechanisms. One is related to the governor and the other is related to the tribal advisory councils. So tribal advisory council, it will be composed of some 20 tribal members, and they will decide the modus operandi which is applicable to the particular region. Then the governor is having certain role. So the governor of a state is authorized to direct that any particular law of parliament or the state legislature, whether it is applicable or not, it will be decided by the governor. Okay. So this is with respect to the governor. Then the governor, he can regulate certain activities in the ground level. especially related to the land allotment and the money lending business. And in the end of every year, he will be submitting a report to the president with some recommendations. Okay, and if any act or any provisions, if it is getting regulated by governor, means it should get the assent from the president. Then only it will come to force in the ground level. Okay, and who decides the scheduled area? As I already told you, we are having a president. President is the authority to decide or to notify a scheduled region. Okay, and with respect to the criteria, we don't have any criteria in constitution or in any legal enactments. The criteria what the president has been following, which comes from the Debar committee recommendations. So Debar committee recommendations has been taken by president, and according to that he has been notifying particular region as a scheduled area. Okay, so this is the first half of the article. In the second half, we are going to discuss what are the governance related issues we are having in the ground level and what can be the way forward. So this is what we are going to discuss further. So these are the issues the article has been discussing. With respect to the scheduled areas, the governor's power has been diluted. So for the past 2 decades, the governor's power has been diluted with respect to the administrative mechanism related to the scheduled areas. And no constitutional provisions or any legal backing to decide what area constitutes a scheduled area. So this is what I already told you. And the president, he has been utilizing the recommendations of the Debar Commission report. So what the Debar Commission has been stating, it has been stating that if we are going to announce any region as a scheduled area, means then it need to satisfy certain criteria. The first one is related to the preponderance of the tribal population. Then the compactness and the reasonable size. Then thirdly, viable administrative entity. Then fourthly, economic backwardness. So if the region, it has been satisfying any criteria of the Debar Commission report recommendation, means then the president will be announcing the particular region as a scheduled area, right? Then the article has been discussing about the demands of Adivasi organizations throughout India. In several states, they have been asking for the implementation of the 5th schedule, okay? But the government is not willing to do because the regions which hadn't meet the criteria what the Debar Commission has been providing. So this is the main issue. And in the article, they also states that several villages have been left out in almost 10 states with the scheduled areas and in another 10 states with a sufficient ST population, right? So there are several regions which are out of the purview of this 5th schedule, okay? Then as a result, 59% of STs remain outside the purview of Article 244. So here we are having almost 8.6% of the population, right? They have been constituting almost 8.6% of India's total population. So within that, 60% of the people, they are staying outside the purview of the 5th schedule, okay? So this is what the article has been stating. Then they are denied rights under laws applicable to scheduled areas, including the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement act and the Biological Diversity Act 2002. So under these acts, they denied their rights, okay? So because they are not under the scope of 5th schedule, right? Moreover, the Buria Committee in 1995, it actually recommended we need to constitute certain mechanisms, especially with respect to the Panchayat Raj governance in the scheduled regions. But it is also yet to come to force, okay? We don't have any dedicated Panchayat Raj mechanisms for the scheduled area, okay? So these are the few issues we are having with respect to the tribal population. And here, the article, they have been stating certain way forward. So the first one, all habitations or group of habitations outside the scheduled areas in all states and union territories where STs are the largest social group need to be notified as scheduled areas irrespective of their contiguity. So let's say we are having one region and we had demarcated in such a way. So this is the circle I mentioned, right? So in this portion, the tribal density is very high, but we actually divided the entire region into almost 4 districts. This is District A, District B, and District C, and District D. Now the government will be saying that in 4 districts, they don't have any sufficient density of the tribal population. So we couldn't able to implement the scheduled areas which are applicable to the particular region. So this is how government has been stating, right? So in several cases, the demarcation is not in favor of the tribal population. So this is what the article has been stating. So irrespective of the contiguity, we need to approve the region as a scheduled region, okay? Then the second way forward mechanism is the geographical limit of these villages will need to be extended to the community forest resources area on forest land under FRA Act 2006 and to the customary boundary within revenue lands made possible through suitable amendments to the relevant state laws. So we need to extend the benefits out of the community forest resources to the tribal population in the particular geographical limit, right? For that, we can do certain amendments. So this is what the second way forward has been mentioning. Lastly, the geographical limits of the revenue villages, panchayats, taluk, districts will need to be redrawn. So this is the last way forward they had provided. So here, as I already stated you, we hadn't demarcate a region in favor of the tribal groups, right? For that, we need to do a restructure mechanisms related to the administrative regions what we are having now. So if we redesign the map means, then we can create a contiguity between the scheduled tribe regions and we can pronounce the 5th schedule to the concerned regions, right? So with respect to the article, in the first half, we had discussed about the static and in the second half, we had discussed about the issues and the way forward mechanisms. So with respect to the issues, we had discussed about the powers, the governor's powers has been diluted and we don't have any constitutional provisions to decide the criteria applicable to the scheduled regions, and we had discussed about the Debar Commission report, right? Then we also discussed about the Adivasi organizations' demands and then why 60% of the tribal population is outside the purview of Article 244, right? Then we discussed about the way forward. So this is the content what they have provided in the article. With respect to issues and way forward, it will be helpful to do an answer writing practice related to the tribal topic. And with respect to the first half, we can expect questions in the prelims, right? So this is with respect to the first article. Let us wind up the article here. Let us move on to the next article. This is the second article, guys. So what is multimodal artificial intelligence and why is it important? Here in the article, they have been discussing about the certain developments, what we are having in the multimodal artificial intelligence domain. And the article has been discussing about the functions of the multimodality and we are having applications. So we are having applications in several domains. Let us discuss one by one. So the context of the article, as I already told you, there are certain developments, right? So ChatGPT maker, OpenAI, they announced that GPT 3.5 and 4 models to study images and analyze them in words. Let me explain you. We are having a tool, okay? This is a artificial intelligence tool. And here we are providing image as an input, okay? So image as an input and we will be getting the information in the text form, okay? So this is what GPT 3.5 and 4 has been doing. And Google's large multimodal language model yet to be released. So the model name is Gemini. So Gemini is the multimodal language model of Google, okay? But it has been tested in certain companies and it proven successful, okay? And the past couple of years have seen a stream of multimodal AI streams being released like OpenAI's text-to-image model like DALL-E. So DALL-E, it came in the year 2021 and it is a beginning of the multimodal artificial intelligence platform, okay? So before getting into the article, we need to know what is meant by multimodal artificial intelligence, okay? So that's what here the definition has been provided. The multimodal AI is a type of artificial intelligence that can process, understand or generate inputs for more than one type of data. So modality refers to the way in which something exists, is experienced or is expressed. Let me tell you, we are having a multimodal transportation system, right? So in which we will be integrating our transportation networks, what we are having. Let's say if we are having metro lines means then we will be integrating the metro lines with the conventional railways or with the airways. So this is how we have been creating a multimodal transportation system. In such a way, to accomplish certain work, we have been creating several inputs. We have been creating a system to accept several inputs, and the output also will be in the form what we are desiring. So this is the basics behind the multimodal AA. Okay. So previously, if we are providing a text input means, then the text output will be there. Okay. So this is the conventional AA. Now certain advancements came. So with the help of the multimodal AA, we can generate information from the images and all. So this is what the context has been discussing. And generally with respect to AA, we are having two variants. One is narrow and another one is broad. So the broad AA, it had to develop. Right now, we have been making certain developments in the narrow AA. So the multimodal AA, it belongs to the narrow AA. So after the development of multimodal AA in the future, we will be developing certain broad artificial intelligence. So if any device, if it is having sensory capability and if it is having cognitive capability and if it can use the knowledge to accomplish particular work means, we can term it as a broad AA. Okay. But with respect to the narrow AA, if we are providing one input and if it has been generating the output based upon the accumulated knowledge means, then it will be termed as a narrow AA. Okay. I hope you can understand the difference, right? So with respect to the broad, it will be having a potential to use the cognitive ability, and it is having the potential to utilize the sensory ability, and it will generate or it will accomplish the work in such a way what we have been designing. So this is the broad AA. And with respect to narrow AA, if we are providing some input means, based on the knowledge what the system is having, it will be generating some output. Okay. So this is the narrow AA. So the multimodal, it may act as a bridge towards the development of broad AA in the future. Right. Now let us discuss about the applications what we are having. So the first application in the year 2020, Meta was working on multimodal system to automatically detect hateful memes. So by the infusion of the multimodal AA, because the multimodal AA, it is having the capability to filter the information which are provided in the images, right? So that's how the Meta, it utilized the potential of the multimodal AA to detect the hateful memes. Okay. Then the Google stated that the capability of the multimodal AA in predict the next lines of dialogue in a video. Let's say if we are providing some video as an input to the multimodal AA tool, and it will grasp the information what is going to come further. So this is how they have been reading the video information and they have been providing the output, right? Then thirdly, it is related to the image blind. So Meta announced a multimodal system which is called image blind, and the Meta had stated that the image blind is having the potential to grasp the information from text, visual, data, audio, and the information related to temperature and the movement readings. So these are all the information which can be analyzed by the multimodal AA tool image blind, right? Then fourthly, the application is related to the virtual reality. So we all well known about the scope of virtual reality in gaming platform, right? So in the future, with the further advancements, we can expect certain combination of visuals and the sounds of an environment in virtual reality. So for that, they had provided one example. The shore of beach will be having crashing waves, and it will also having harsh storms and temperature. So if someone is experiencing virtual reality means, he will be also having some sensory related parameters. So they are going to add sensory related parameters to provide better experience with respect to the virtual reality. Okay. Then the last one is related to the medical science. So the image analysis in CT scans and other medical imageries. So if we are providing some CT scans to the multimodal AA tool means, it will be predicting the possibility of the disease in the future, right? So in the image, the doctors, they won't be having the capability to realize the information, right? But with the help of the AA tool, we can read the information what it has been in the image, and we can predict the disease the patient is going to get in the future. So these are all the applications we are having. Let's say, with respect to image analytics, let me tell you another one example. Suppose, let's say, we are taking some MRI scan and it doesn't have any presence of tumors, but in the future, the patient may acquire some malignancy. Okay, so these information and all can be reaped out of the help of the multimodal AI tools, right? So with respect to this article, we had seen what are the developments we are having, then what is meant by multimodal AI, then what are the two types of AI we are having, then what are the applications we are having with respect to the multimodal AI, right? So let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the third article, guys. India needs youth mental health focus to strike demographic gold, right? So with respect to this article, we need to know what are the issues, especially the mental health issues the adolescents of India is having, and what are the way forward. So this is what we need to know. And here in the article, they had discussed about the demographic dividend, what India is having. So demography means population, okay? So it is related to the population, and dividend means benefits. So what are the benefits we are getting out of the population? So this is the demographic dividend. And with respect to India, we are well known, we are having massive amount of young population. So the average age of India is almost 28.1 years. Meanwhile, if you are looking upon some developed economies like UK or Japan, means their average age will be very high. That too, with respect to Japan and all, they are having massive amount of population above 50 and 60 years. Okay, but with respect to India, we are having huge volume of the young population. So if the government, if they are properly skilling the young population, means then we can reap the benefits out of the excess human resource what we are having, right? And here in the article, they have been discussing about the several issues the adolescents has been facing related to their mental health. So generally, guys, with respect to the mental health, right, people, they tend to give priority to the physical health, but they usually ignore the importance what they are supposed to provide to the mental health, right? So this is what the article has been stating, and it has been discussing several issues related to the mental health. The first one, the society's perception is towards the physical health. So this is what I already explained to you. The society, they need to give more importance upon the physical appearance, physical look, the skin tone, right? And the muscular mass. So these are all the few areas they need to give a huge priority. They tend to ignore the health benefits what we are reaping out of the good mental health, right? So this is the first issue we are having. Then secondly, the government is having several schemes. Example, they have provided the Rashtriya Kishore Shakti Karyakram. So under the scheme, the government is having a responsibility to create adolescent-friendly health clinics. But the scheme is underfunded, right? So we don't have well-elaborated health clinics in the ground level. Then secondly, it is related to the learning abilities, Sarva Shiksha Yojana. So the scheme has been focusing on learning abilities of the adolescents. Then thirdly, it is related to the National Youth Policy. So under the National Youth Policy, we are having provisions to prevent the substance use by adolescents. Substance use is nothing but a psychotropic drugs. Thirdly, the article has been discussing about the government reports. So the official reports, it has been stating that between the age 13 and 17, we are having several mental illness group of almost 7.3%. So we are having almost 180 million population in the age band of 13 to 17. Okay. So within that, we are having 7.3% stake population having a several mental illness. So the serious mental illness category within the 180 million population is 7.3%. Okay. I hope you can feel the gravity of the issue what we are having. Then fourthly, students in schools have a negative perception towards a counselor. So they used to name the counselor, the student's counselor, as a tension teacher. Why they have been stigmatizing? Because the counselor, what the government has been providing or what the schools have been providing, they are not keeping the secrets with themselves. So this is the main issue we are having with respect to the student counselor in each schools, right? Then the gender disparities are particularly worrisome, right? So generally, the female, they are having several trauma, they are having several mental trauma in the adolescent period compared to their counterpart, right? So this is the fifth issue we are having. Then lastly, the masculine norms. It restricts the vent for ousting the emotions. So if you are a boy means you might experience, actually generally parents and relatives and friends, they used to tell you that if we are a male means then we are not supposed to oust the emotions, right? So we are not supposed to weep or we are not supposed to cry, like that the people used to tell us, right? So if we are restricting the emotions means it will create a mental trauma indirectly. Okay, so this is the last issue we are having, and they have been provided certain key measures what the government and the society is supposed to take. So the first one, we need to keep a strict confidential regime. Okay, so we need to ensure the secrecy of the information what the students has been providing to the student counselor. Okay, so this is the first issue we need to sort out. Then secondly, we need to create a positive awareness related to the student counselor among the students. Okay, so right now the students are having negative perception over the tension teacher or over the counselor, right? So that's what they have been stigmatizing particular counselor as a tension teacher. So we need to create a positive awareness and we need to create a cordial relations between the student counselor and the students. Okay, then thirdly, we need to move from a medical model to convergent model with respect to the mental health treatments. So right now, if you are approaching any psychiatrist or psychiatrist means they will be providing certain antidepressants, right? So they will be providing certain antidepressants, and over the time, you may addict to those antidepressants or you may come out of the stress timeline what you had. Okay, but rather than depending upon the antidepressants, we need to find the root cause and we need to eliminate those root cause. So this is how convergent model has been stated, and for that they had provided one model, the whole school, whole community and whole child model. So this is the model USA has been following. So within the USA population, especially among the adolescents, they have been following the model, and in that they have been identifying the factors which are responsible for the trauma, the mental trauma, right? So the triggering factors, it may be genetic or it may be physical, right? Or it may be environmental. So all these factors need to be assessed and the treatment modules need to be designed in such a way to eliminate those triggers. Okay, so this is the fourth way forward what they had provided. Then lastly, it is related to the multi-sectoral approach. It includes eliminating the trigger factors to unleash the potential of youth. So this is almost the same as the third way forward what the article had provided, right? Then lastly, the healthy mind thrives with healthy body. We need to emphasize more on the healthy body and healthy mind. Why? Because both are interrelated, both are interlinked. So that's what among the adolescents in the schedule, in the college schedule, in the school schedule and all, we have been providing time for physical activities, right? But with respect to the curriculum, several academic institutions, they have been restricting the playing time. So it have been creating a trauma, right? So if they are engaging in some physical activities means, then the body and mind coordination will be better. And moreover, in their adult timeline, they will be having a better cognitive ability, right? So these are the way forward we need to be implemented. That's it. Okay. So with respect to the article, we had discussed what are the issues we are having among the adolescents, especially related to their mental health, and what are the way forward mechanisms we can carry forward, right? So within the way forward mechanism, they had provided the whole school, whole community, whole child model. So you can use the fact in the answer writing practices, right? Let us wind up the article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the fourth article, guys. Urban unemployment rate drops to 6.6% in Q1. So here, with respect to the article, they had stated that the periodical labor force survey has been announced by the National Sample Survey Office, and in that they mentioned that the urban employment rate has been decreasing. So the periodical labor force survey as carried out by NSSO has reported that the unemployment rate in urban areas of the country has been decreasing during the period April to June 2023. And we all well known NSSO, it has been functioning under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And they also releasing another one report, Annual Survey of Industries. Okay. So generally, they have been releasing the report related to the socio-economic domain. And in the PLFS survey, they also mentioned about the labor force participation rate and the worker population ratio. Both have been improving. So what is meant by LFPR, the labor force participation rate? So LFPR, it not only include the employed people, but also include the people who are looking for job. Okay. So this is the labor force participation rate. But with respect to the worker population ratio, it will account the amount of people who employed within the population. Okay. So this is the worker population ratio. And guys, for every quarter, these data and all will be varying. Okay. We need to know just the trend, what it has been prevailing in the economy. And unemployment rate in urban areas decreased from 7.6% in April-June 2022 to 6.6% April-June 2023 for persons aged 15 years and above. Okay. So this is the improvement what we had secured in the employment domain. Right. So that's it, guys. So basically the article, it has been stating that we have been improving in labor force participation rate and worker population ratio. Then another one thing, we have been reducing the prevalence of the unemployment in the urban region. Then with respect to the quarter 1 of 2022, we had improved in the quarter 1 of 2023. So these are the three facts they had provided in the article, right? So now let us wind up this article here. Let us move on to the next one. This is the last article, guys. ICMR to conduct study to develop solutions to remedy childhood nutrition, right? So among the infants, we all will know we are having huge proportion of infants in the undernutrition status, right? So the childhood mortality is also very high. So that's what ICMR, they are going to carry out certain multi-center research study. In that, they are going to combine the home foods with certain combinations, and they are also going to add some behavioral patterns. And this is how they are going to alter the diet pattern of mother. So once we alter the mother's diet pattern means, then we can refine the nutrition what the child has been getting from mother, right? So this is the main ultimatum behind the study, right? So with respect to the study, so this is what they had provided. So with respect to this article, the government had taken several initiatives in the past to brought the undernutrition under the control, but they couldn't, right? So that's what ICMR, it decided to conduct the multi-center research study. So in that, they are going to include the certain combinations of home foods and the behavioral changes. So this is how they are going to mold the feeding pattern to the mother, and they are expecting that if we are feeding good nutrition to mother means, then obviously the infants also will be getting a sufficient nutrition. So this is the main logic behind the study, right? And with respect to the article, we need to know about the ICMR, right? So ICMR is the apex body in India for the formulation, coordination and promotion of biomedical research. Then what are the mandates ICMR is having? Its mandate is to conduct, coordinate and implement medical research for the benefit of the society, and translating medical innovations into products or process and introducing them into the public health system. So if any universities, any medical universities, if they are coming up with certain innovations means, then it is the role of the ICMR to bring the innovation into the market. Okay. So this is the second mandate ICMR is having. And as we all well known, it is funded by the Government of India, and it has been operating under the Department of Health Research. So under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, we are having two departments. One is Department of Health and Family Welfare, and another one is related to the health research, the Department of Health Research. So we are having two departments, okay? So ICMR has been operating under the Department of Health Research. So this is the third fact we are having, right? So now let us move on to the question section. So this is the mains question for you. Define multimodal AI. Discuss its application in the digital world, right? So this is the mains question for you. I hope with the discussion what we had in the second article, you can frame the answer for the given question. Then this is the prelims question for you. Consider the statements with respect to ICMR. So ICMR is the apex body in India for formulation, coordination and promotion of biomedical research. So this is factually correct. And the second statement, it is under the Department of Health and Family Welfare. So as I already told you, under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, we are having two departments. So Department of Health Research is one and Department of Health and Family Welfare is another one, right? So the second option is wrong because ICMR is operating under the Department of Health Research, right? So only one is right. So the first one is the right one. So finally, we are arriving at the end of the discussion, right? I hope you will be liking this discussion. Subscribe to ForumIAS in all social media platforms. Signing off, Vijay.